Hi guys, for this video lesson, we're going to discuss propositions under your General Mathematics from Quarter 2, Module 13. I'm your subject teacher, Arvin S. Enriquez. Our lesson objectives: at the end of this video lesson, you are expected to define proposition, illustrate a proposition, and identify whether a sentence is a proposition or not. So let's now start with these propositions. Math involves logic. Yes, it is, no, because we can say that logic and mathematics are two sister disciplines. So because logic is this very general theory of inference and reasoning, and inference and reasoning play a very big role in mathematics. Because as mathematicians, what we do is we prove theorems. And to do this, we need to use logical principles and logical inferences. That's why we can conclude or we can say that logic and mathematics are two sister disciplines. That's why math involves logic, or in the same way, logic involves mathematics, or there is always a logic, no, in mathematics. There is logic in performing mathematical operations. Yes, it is. In playing chess, the way we play chess, in making decisions, the way how we see scenario or situations in our life, and the way we make decisions, there's an involvement of logic. In communicating with peers, and in many other activities that we do, we may be using the principles and concepts of logic in our daily tasks, which may be unknowing to us sometimes. Yes, it is, no? We are not aware, but we are using the concept of your logic. That is how the study of logic may be significant to everybody. To commence our discussion on logic, this lesson will introduce the key concepts of propositions. So entirely, this module is all about the concepts of your propositions, because we can say that logic is a system based on propositions. In the end, learners are expected to demonstrate understanding of these concepts. So let's deal now with this what's in activity. So determine what type of sentence is each of the following. On a space provided before each number, write D if it is a declarative sentence, E if exclamatory sentence, IM if imperative, and IN if it is interrogative. So there is a given 5 sentences here, and you need to determine whether they are declarative, exclamatory, imperative, and interrogative. So before dealing entirely in this activity, let's recall now what is a declarative, exclamatory, imperative, and interrogative. Now, when you say declarative sentence, no, or sentences, so these are the most common of the 4 types of sentences. We can say that these declarative sentences are the most common of the 4 types of sentences. They are used when you want to make a statement. Yes, no? Entirely this declarative sentence is a statement which can be a fact or an opinion. So you need to take note of that. When you are dealing with declarative, it is a fact or an opinion. So these sentences, no, end with a period. Many pieces of writing contains numerous declarative sentences in a row, or are made up nearly entirely of declarative sentences, since they are the best sentence type for laying out a story in a clear and understandable way. So that's how we see the concept of your declarative sentence. Now, moving forward with your exclamatory sentence, these used no to express a special strong emotion such as anger, happiness, disbelief, and etc. They all end with an exclamation point. So, however, if the sentence gives a command and ends with an exclamation mark, then it is an imperative, not exclamatory sentence. So you need to take note between no the difference between exclamatory and imperative, because there are times whether there is a exclamation point, still it is imperative or it can be exclamatory. So this sentence type is only rarely no used in professional writing such as in newspapers or academic journals, where it is important for the author to remain objective and stick to the facts rather than emotions. Now, with your imperative sentence, these imperative sentences give a command or an instruction. They can range from a single verb to a much longer sentence, and they typically end with a period. So that's how we see imperative. While dealing with your interrogative sentence here, so this interrogative sentence or all interrogative sentences ask a question. If if that sentences no ask a question, so it's automatic or most probably that will be an interrogative sentence and therefore end with a question mark, which make them easy to identify. So it's automatic that if that sentence no asks a question and at the end of this sentence there is a question mark, it's automatic that this sentence is an interrogative sentence. So this sentence type often begins no with words such as do, how, who, what, where, when, and why. So the questions may be a yes or no questions or one that is more open-ended. As long that this sentence asks a question and at the end of this sentence there's a question mark, that sentence is a good example of an interrogative sentence. Now, with these five statements here, it's your own task no to identify whether these statements being given to us if they are a declarative, exclamatory, or imperative or interrogative sentence. So it's up to you on how you identify or determine whether these statements is a declarative, exclamatory, imperative, or interrogative sentences. Now with this what's new, so it is a game, no? Very it's a pack or flap. So before you go on, pause for a while and play this game with your family, member or fear. All you must do is to read the listed sentences. The other player will decide and tell you whether each sentence is a fact or a flap. To make it more informative, you may search about each given topic and tell the reasons why it is a fact or a flap. So here there's the given sentences here and answer if they are a fact or a flap. First sentence is that you are taller in the morning than in the evening. Is it a fact or a flap? So the answer is fact. So the second sentence give us by the age of 18 your brain stops growing. Is it a fact or flop? So the answer is a fact. Sourness stays in the tip of the tongue. Is it a fact or flop? It's a flop. So up to the last sentence. Now, did you both enjoy the game? Try it with somebody else. No? We can use this game for us to know if the statement or the sentence is a fact or flop. Or they are a fact or at the same time they are a flop. So we can say that these statements is a good example, or we can uh, it can give you no a partial vision no what is a proposition is. So let's deal now to what is it. So it proposition defined. So now a proposition is a declarative sentence. So it is not an interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory. When we say proposition, it's only a declarative sentence, meaning it is a statement. It can be a fact or an opinion that is either true or false. So it can be true or false, but not at the same time they are true or false. That's why, but not both. Meaning to say, if the statement is a true statement, it's only a true statement, but not at the same time it's a false statement. Again, when we say proposition, it is a declarative sentence, not an interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory. It's only or solely a declarative sentence that is either true or false, but not at the same time that these statements are true or false. Now, a true proposition has a true value of true. Otherwise, its truth value is false. Yes, it is. If the proposition is a true statement, then the truth value is true. When the proposition is a false statement, then the truth value is false. So that's simple it is, no? It depends. The truth value depends if the statement or the proposition is a true or false statement. Oftentimes, a small letter is used to denote a proposition. That is, the proposition now that your A, it is getting clearer. So we can read this one or maybe read as A is the proposition that it is getting clearer. So moreover, a sequence of propositions may be denoted by your P sub 1. It is P sub 1 here. So there's a typographical error here. And P sub 2 and P sub 3 and so on up to the last member of that sequence. So that's how we deal with this proposition. So for examples, determine if each sentence is a proposition or not. If it is, give its truth value. Again, your truth value defines if the sentence or a proposition is a true or false statement. If a proposition is a true statement, then the truth value is true. When the proposition is a false statement, then the truth value is false. So that's simple it is, no? For number one, or letter A, I mean, as first example, grounding is beneficial to a person. Is it a proposition or not? So as you can see, it is a declarative sentence that may either be true or false. At first, we don't know if this statement or this declarative sentence is a true or false statement. So we can assume first that this statement is a true statement at the same time is a false statement. So it is a proposition, no? And since research says it's true, then its truth value is true. Again, we use some research, no? And we prove that this statement is a true statement. Mean to say, we can consider this one as a proposition because this one is a true statement based on research. That's why your truth value here in number or in letter A, in proposition A, your truth value here is true. And for letter B, forgive and forget. Is it a proposition or not? The question is, the next question is this a good example of a declarative sentence? Forgive and forget. So it is an imperative sentence. Hence, it is not a proposition. Again, I will repeat that a proposition is only or solely a declarative sentence. It is not a interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory. When we say proposition, it is only a declarative sentence. It can be a fact or opinion. It can be a true statement or a false statement, but not at the same time. Since letter B or sentence letter B now is an imperative sentence, meaning to say that this one is not a proposition, because this is a good example of an imperative sentence. For letter C, happy birthday. Happy birthday, is it a declarative sentence? Definitely not. Because happy birthday, there's an exclamation point there. It is an exclamatory sentence, which makes it not a proposition also. Again, because a proposition is only a declarative sentence that can be true or false but not at the same time. For letter D, here, there is no stronger than the heart of a volunteer. Is it a declarative first? Is it a statement? That will be the first question. It is this. It is a statement. If yes, then you need to check if this statement is a true or false. If this statement is a true or and false at the same times, then we cannot consider this one as a proposition. A proposition is only a true or false, but not at the same time. For letter D, it is a declarative sentence that may either be true or false. Yes, it is. No, at first we don't know if that is a true or false statement. It is a proposition. Why? Because most especially in cases of frontliners, this is true. Otherwise, proven to be wrong, then it is false in that specific instance. So therefore, this one is a proposition. Then next, for letter P or the fifth sentence or statement here, the 3 exclamation point or 3 factorial is equal to 6 over 2. Is it a proposition or not? And that is the question. So, translated to, no, the verbal statement, this mathematical sentence is the 3 factorials is equal to 6 divided by 2. So that's how we convert or translate this in a verbal statement. It is a declarative sentence. Yes, it is, no? So it is a proposition. Meanwhile, since 3 factorial is equal to 6 and not equal to 6 over 2, because 6 over 2 is equal to 3, then the proposition is a false statement. So we can say that this one is a false statement. Why? Because 3 factorial, if we input 3 factorial in a calculator, it can provide you 6, but not 6 over 2. And for Q, never mind, I am just joking. Is it a proposition or not? For letter Q, it is a declarative sentence. Yes, it is, no? But be cautious. Notice that the statement cannot be true nor false. If the statement is true, it cannot be because the speaker is telling a joke. It is false. It cannot be either because the person is speaking the truth. Hence, it is not a proposition. Because if someone tell you, never mind, I'm just joking, how can you prove that this statement is a true statement or a false statement? Meaning to say that this statement can be a true statement and a false statement at the same time, because we cannot prove, no, that this statement is a true statement only or a false statement only. That's why Q is not a proposition, even if this is a statement. For your P sub 1 here, if an individual is great, then there is a teacher behind. So it is a declarative sentence that may either be correct or not. So it can be correct or not. It is therefore a proposition. Every great person that the world has known has a patient teacher or a coach, acknowledged or not, hence the proposition is true. Yes, the truth value of this one is a true, because this one is a true statement. Then for your P sub 2, either a person saves before spending or one spends before saving. Is it a proposition or not? Is it a statement or not? So it is a declarative sentence that may either be true or false, which tells us that it is a proposition. It is especially true, no? If one earns money, it may be false if there is a none to spend or save. Yes, it is, no, it depends on the person. If you can save, then it is true. If not, then it's a false statement. So that's why your P sub 2 is a proposition. Your P sub 3 now, it is not shame to greet the utility worker the same way as with the school principal. Yes, it is. No, it is a declarative sentence that is absolutely true. Therefore, it is a proposition, and the truth value is true. And for your P sub 4, if a person is disabled, then he or she is entitled to obtain a PWID. And if a person is entitled to obtain a PWID, then he and she is disabled. Yes, it is a declarative sentence which by law is true, because there is a guidelines being given for a PWD. So this is a good example of a proposition, because by law it is a true statement. So meaning today that the truth value of this one is a true statement. So for more examples, let's deal with this statement and proposition game. So the statement and proposition game. First example. Elephants are bigger than mice. Is this a statement? Yes, it is a statement. So it's a good example of a declarative sentence. Is this a proposition? Yes, it is a proposition, because elephants are bigger than mice in reality. What is the truth value of the proposition? Again, the truth value of the proposition depends on if the statement or the proposition is a true or false statement. If that is a true statement, then the truth value now is true. So that's how we deal with this statement and proposition game. For the next example, 520 less than 111. Is this a statement? Yes, it is a statement. Is this a proposition? Yes, it is a proposition. Why? Because 520, even if 520 in reality is greater than 111, in this statement, 520 less than 111 is a false statement. Again, as we define your proposition, it is a declarative sentence that can be true or false, but not at the same time true or false. Since this statement is a false statement and it is a declarative sentence or a statement, then it is a proposition. Now, what is the truth value of the proposition? Since pi 20 less than 111 is a false statement, the truth value of this proposition is false. So next statement, y is greater than 5. Is this a statement? Yes, it is a statement. Is this a proposition? It is no. Why? Because there is no given value of y. Because at some value of y, we can satisfy this condition that y is greater than 5. For example, if y is equal to 6, then the proposition is a true statement. If y is equal to 3, 3 is not greater than 5, it is less than 5. Meaning to say, at some value of y, a proposition can be false statement, or at the same time, it can be a true statement. Since there is no given value of y variable here, we cannot assume that y is less than 5 and y is greater than 5. Or we cannot say that y is greater than 5 because there is no given value for that variable y. So this statement can be true and false at the same time. It depends on the value that we can put as a value of that variable y. Since there is no given value for that variable y or values for that variable y, then we cannot conclude that this statement is a true statement and a false statement. It is a statement that can provide you a true value that is true and false at the same time. That's why it is not a proposition. So its truth value depends on the value of y. Yes, it is, no? If we put 6 as a value of your y, then that is a true statement. If we put 3 as a value of your y, it is a false statement because 3 is less than 5 in reality. So meaning to say, if we put 3 as a value of your y, then it is a false statement. But this value is not specified because there is no given value or values for that variable y. So we cannot say that this statement is a true statement or a false statement. We call this type of statement a propositional function or open sentence. No? Please do take note of that we call this type of statement as a propositional function or open sentence because any numbers can be a value of your variable y there, and the truth value always depends on the value that we put, no, as a value of your variable y there, if that is a true or false statement. So next statement, today is January 1 and 99 is less than 5. Is this a statement? Yes, it is a statement. Is this a proposition? Yes, it is a proposition. Why? For the first part of this statement, today is January 1, but today is December 27, 2021. Meaning to say this first part of the statement is a false statement. And in the second part, before this connector N, 99 is less than 5. In reality, 99 is greater than 5. So I mean to say the second part of this statement is also a false statement. So the entire statement here, today is January 1 and 99 is less than 5, is a false statement. So meaning to say this one is considered as, or was considered as, a proposition because the entire statement is a false statement. Now, what is the truth value of the proposition? So it is false because the entire statement is a false statement. Next example, please do not fall asleep. Is this a statement? No, definitely it's not a statement. It's a request. Is this a proposition? Definitely no, because as we define your proposition, it is a declarative sentence, it is a statement that can be true or false but not at the same time. If the given is a request, a command, a question, a statement that express a strong feeling, then that's not a declarative sentence. It can be interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory, but not a declarative. As we define your proposition, it is only a declarative sentence. That's why if we're asked if this is a proposition, definitely not, because it's not a statement. It is a request. So only statements can be proposition. So as you can see, please do take note of this. Only statements can be propositions. Next example, x is less than y if and only if y is greater than x. Is this a statement? Yes, it is a statement. Is this a proposition? It's automatic, it's a proposition. Why? Because if x is less than y, it's automatic that y is greater than x. Why? Because even if there is no given values for your x and y variables here, if you try to assess and understand the given statement here that x is less than y if and only if there's a given condition if and only if y is greater than x. If x is less than y, it's automatic that y is greater than x. So meaning to say, this is a proposition. Now, because its truth value does not depend on the specific values of x and y because there is a given condition here. If and only if. Unlike before, there's no given value because there's no given condition. We just simply y is greater than 5 there. So if there's no given value of y there, then it is not a proposition. Now, in this case, if x is less than y, it's automatic that y is greater than x. So there is a reverse of location of your variable here. And we can say that this one is a proposition. What is the truth value of the proposition? It is a true. Why? Because if x is less than, if x is less than y, it's automatic that your y is greater than x. Without putting any values on your x and y variables, we can say that this one is a proposition and the truth value is true. So for your activity, there is activity 1.1 and 1.2 here. So consider the following sentences. Write P if it is a proposition and NP if not. So you just simply put P and NP for your first, second, third, fourth, and fifth sentences here. So there's, as you can see, there's an exclamatory, interrogative, imperative, and declarative sentence there. So there's a hint that these sentences are not entirely a proposition, or these five sentences here are not all declarative sentences. And activity number 2, tell whether each of the propositions below is a true or false. So again, you're just simply put true or false, no? Because we are asked only to tell whether each of the propositions below is a true or a false statement. So there's a one first, second, third, fourth, and fifth statements here or sentences here or propositions, I mean, in this activity 1.2. You can put all your answers in your Catleya notebook and you can pass all your required outputs when the deadline or the deadline is to be announced, no, by your subject teacher. Thanks for watching. So please do like, comment, and share and subscribe.